I'm officially done grading video games. What a mess. A couple weeks ago, I made a video where I was sending in my holy grail video games, some of my favorite games from the PlayStation 3. The Last of Us, a few of the Uncharted games, God of War, some really cool PlayStation 3 games I was sending into CGC to get them graded. One good thing is, I sent them in, it only took a week for them to get graded and shipped back to me, so that's fantastic. The bad thing is, only 2 of the games were actually graded. One of the games was graded with an error, which would be very interesting, and 2 of the games were apparently resealed. Let's start with the 2 games that were apparently resealed. So both games I purchased from the exact same seller 2 years ago. They're like $20 games. I think I spent $40 for both games. I don't see a reason why someone would reseal a $20 modern game, but I guess, you know, people reseal $140 Vivid Voltage booster boxes. So I guess there's people who will literally do anything to make a little bit of money. So both of these games, Uncharted 2, they were both apparently resealed. So let me take these out. I don't believe that CGC tells you why they think they're resealed. All they give you is I guess, a little label here that says sealed, but it says RE, which means basically they think that the game shows signs of being resealed. They don't tell you what signs they saw, which indicate that it could be resealed. When I looked over the games in the other video, and when I've looked over the games since then, I really felt like there wasn't any massive tells of this being a resealed game. The seal's real tight. It's got the, what do they call them, Y folds or whatever, or H folds or whatever folds on the, you know, the front and back there. And, you know, they were just good looking games. They're both essentially in similar condition. One had one little thing that I thought was a little odd. This one had this little thing here. I don't know what it is. It's not on the outside of the seal, so maybe that was an indication. Maybe I should have realized, like, there's obviously some sort of discoloration or damage or something that happened inside of the actual seal, which would indicate maybe that it was previously opened and then sealed after the fact. But I also feel like this could just be something that could just happen, you know, during the factory process of sealing them. There's nothing to me that screams resealed on this. Actually, I reached out to the store who sold me these games. It was 2 years ago now, so obviously they don't remember me, don't remember the sale, but I just said my order was a couple years ago. The listing was for new sealed games, and both of them have been rejected from a grading company for being quote unquote resealed. Basically, because it was 2 different games, to me, I have to assume that this store on Amazon is resealing video games to make more money. I don't know if that's true or not, but they responded and said, we don't reseal anything. We buy from multiple wholesalers. We buy store closeouts, etc. Thank you for letting me know. I can say with certainty, we have seen many posts where buyers bought directly from store and graders said resealed. So I guess they're saying that people go into Target or whatever, grab a game, send it into a grading company, and it's rejected for being resealed. I've never seen that, but that could be out there. Let me know in the comments if you've seen that. If they have any questions, they say not original, but we have seen so many different wraps and issues with factory sealing. So they are claiming that they buy them from wholesalers, they buy them from store closeouts, etc., and that these games are in fact legitimate, not resealed. Like they say though, I mean, if there is any indication of a game being resealed, I can see why a grading company would reject it. They don't want their reputation on the line for things that are potentially resealed. It's like when a card grading company grades a fake card. That is obviously a problem, and it can ruin the reputation of said grading company, or at least for a little while, people's thoughts about that grading company and its legitimacy. So I can see why, if there was any sign of it being resealed, you would reject it. It would be kind of fun as an experiment to send them out to WATA to see if WATA grades them or not, but not really sure what I want to do with those yet. Next up, we have Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. Now, really excited about just sending out the Uncharted games in general. It's one of my favorite series. This one got a weird grade. 7.5. I can't even fit it in the actual screen. 7.5 with an A+ seal. So it got an A+ seal, 7.5. Why would it get a 7.5 if it has an A+ seal? I don't know. Let's ask CGC. Apparently, the game is Fading on case. So I think in the back end of CGC, it said that the game was sun faded. How would you even determine if the game was sun faded or not? If the front of the case or back of the case was sun faded. So yeah, this game got a 7.5 for apparently sun faded case. 2.5 points from the top of the scale for being sun faded? What? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, this is a 7.5, basically a brick worth nothing. I actually thought about maybe doing a funny like durability test with this game and just like hitting it with a baseball bat, trying to golf with it as like a golf ball, running it over with a car, like seeing how durable the actual CGC case actually is. I think that would be a really funny video. Honestly, if it was getting a 7.5, I wish they would have just reached out to me and said, this is gonna get a 7.5, do you want us to grade this? And I would have said no. Next, let's actually look at games that were graded. Legitimate, not resealed, not sun faded, games that were actually graded. So I sent in The Last of Us, one of my favorite games of all time, probably my favorite game of all time. And I was really excited to send this copy in because I thought it was super clean. It had clean seals, clean front and back, not a whole lot going on. I thought it was going to get a pretty decently high grade. Such a beautiful game, awesome, black label. I don't think it's the first print. It's the not for resale Foster City address version. So apparently there's like a Santa Ana address, or there's a different address on the back of the game that is considered first print. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, really clean game, really clean seals, but 9.2. So obviously I'm happy that it got above a 9. Seemed a little low to me personally. And the A+ grade on the seal, once again, just kind of weird, because this seal was super, super clean. I tried to look at what they say their grading standards is for seals and for, you know, the up in the 9s, because they give you a pretty decent layout, like grading standard, but it's pretty subjective. It's like minor wear on the case. It's like, well, what do you consider minor? What do you consider major? It doesn't really break it down all too far. And then there's a difference between some and minor. So like a 9.6, they use the phrase somewhere, I think. And then like a 9.4 and 9.2, they use the phrase minor wear, or maybe it's flipped. What is some versus minor? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I don't know what that means, CGC. I have no freaking clue. But what I do know is this game was insanely clean. It had no holes, no scratches, nothing wrong with the seals in general. I don't know why it only got an A+ seal, and I don't know why it only got a 9.2. I'm learning that I have no freaking clue when it comes to grading video games, what I'm even looking at, pre-grading, anything like that. It's an interesting learning experience, but man, I got destroyed. So we have one game left. Let's take a look at God of War. Here we go. We've got God of War. So this is God of War for the PlayStation 3 Black Label. It doesn't say whether or not it's first print, but it says Black Label, which is great. And God of War 3, amazing game. Really like it. This one was actually graded with a semi-decent grade. This game actually I thought was in somewhat worse condition. At least the wrap on the outside I thought was in somewhat worse condition than even the Last of Us game, but this game got a 9.4. So I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. I'm starting to learn that. I have no freaking idea what the hell is going on. I'm glad that I got a 9.4. Again, this only got an A+ on the seal. I don't know what they're looking for to get an A++ seal, but holy shit. I mean, these things were pretty immaculate in terms of seals. Nothing was peeling up. There were no holes. There were no scratches. There was no tears, nothing like that. I don't know why in the world they're only getting A+ seals. I don't know how you even get an A++ seal at this point with CGC, but 9.4 again. 9.4 seems a little more good on this one, where the 9.2 seemed a bit low to me on the Last of Us one, just based on what I was looking at in terms of the wrap, in terms of the game case itself, in terms of the seals. 9.4 seems appropriate for this, but 9.2 seemed a little low on The Last of Us, in my opinion. You guys can go back and take a look at my pre-grading video where I pre-graded the games. But yeah, so we got a 9.4 God of War 3, which is pretty cool, pretty appropriate, I feel like, in terms of grade. Really unfortunate video here, really unfortunate game submission. What did I miss? What do I need to learn? If you listen to the questions I had throughout the course of this video and you know about video game grading, what am I missing? What can I learn? What can you teach me about the process of grading video games that I don't know? Should I send those other Uncharted games that were, you know, resealed to WADA to see if they actually are, if another company will grade them or not? What should I do? Let me know in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one.